Hey everybody, this is Jim with Harvest Harmonics, and welcome to another episode of the Profitable Farmer. Today's episode, I wanted just to re-invite you guys to experience what this company is all about, what we're doing, what we're all about. We don't have a small project here. Some people have asked me, what is it you're selling? That's the question I get a lot. What is it you're selling? And the idea is I'm not really selling anything. What we're doing what we're factually doing is we're revitalizing and revolutionizing really the entire industry of agriculture around the world. I mean, that is the real project that we've been here discussing with you over the last several months. We launched this product back in 2019. And yes, it is a product, it is a technology, it is something that we do sell to people. But the reality of the situation is looking at the results that we're seeing on farms all over the world. I mean, I just got a picture. I don't have it ready for this broadcast. I apologize, but I just got a picture of a 14-foot tall corn stalks. I mean, we're talking about a whole field of corn stalks that are literally, they said 4.4 meters, which when I calculated it out is about 14 feet high. And not just that the corn stalks themselves are that high, but the fact that the corn stalks actually have two full size ears already, or two full size buds going. So they're going to have two full size ears per stalk, and maybe sometimes there may even be three. I'm not sure. I'm not going to promise three, but I know at least a lot of these plants have two ears budding, and the other control plants, the ones that are not being treated, they don't even have buds yet. They're just barely at the tasseling phase. So we're growing them larger, we're growing them faster, we're growing them healthier, and we're growing two stalks instead of one, two ears per stalk instead of one. For those of you guys who aren't corn farmers, just to let you know, it's almost unheard of. I'd say it's at least from what I've turned, from the corn farmers I'm talking to, less than 3% of all the corn plants planted, except for certain hybrid varieties, but general varieties, it's almost unheard of to see two stalks per corn. I mean, it's like 1-2% of your field, and we're seeing whole fields now with two stalks forming, and these stalks are going to be full size. I mean, huge differences. I mean, just imagine corn farmers doubling their yield just by having this technology. We've got another corn farmer that's going to be starting with us next year, and he's actually going to be planting closer. There's a certain spacing you need in order for the plants to have enough space to grow and obviously have enough photosynthesis to produce a good crop. He says, well, I'm going to actually plant, you know, uh, take my planting and make it shorter. So instead of, um, you know, 3 feet apart, I'm going to make them a foot and a half apart or something like that. And the extra photosynthesis energy that the Kimonasi plant booster provides and the extra efficiency should still allow the plants to grow and he produce the same amount of crop per stalk. Even if he just gets one ear per stalk, he's going to get a lot more production because he has so much more plants per acre. And that was the whole thing back years ago with the whole GMO thing. The reason why so many corn farmers are using GMO and soybean guys too are using GMO now, and why it got adopted so heavily is because they were able to plant their plants much closer together because they were able to spray herbicides and all that stuff. Now, the disadvantage of GMO and the disadvantage of that approach is you're using a lot more herbicides, right? You're using herbicides, you're using chemicals, and you're not really handling the problem of health. So when we started our company, we didn't just want to help the farmers increase their yield. We wanted them to be able to reduce their chemical usage, chemical fertilizers, chemical pesticides, all these things, fungicides, all these other things. We wanted to help reduce the amount of chemicals the farmers are using for a few reasons. Number one, it's not very profitable for the farmer to have to keep spreading, putting chemicals on their fields year in and year out. Number two, it's not a good sustainable long-term solution because the more chemicals you put, the more you kill the microbes in the soil, and that reduces your soil fertility. And then you have to really add on and heap on the fertility and the fertilization. And then when you add chemical fertilizers, whatever the plants don't utilize gets evaporated out into the atmosphere or run off into the waterways. And then you have environmental issues going on. So our mission as a company is to actually reduce the amount of chemicals that farmers can use. So that's going to make you more money just in terms of reducing your input costs. But more importantly, if we can help you get 2 years, double the production or 20%, 30%, 40% increase in production with less chemicals and less fertilizer usage, you not only benefit from higher yields, you're going to benefit from lower input costs. So that differential is going to be even greater. That profitability margin is really going to be great. So you're going to more than cover the cost of our system, and you're going to have a sustainable solution that produces healthier crops, that reduces chemical usage, and it's better for everybody. I mean, if that sounds too good to be true, if that sounds like what they call snake oil, is what I always hear, right? If that sounds too good to be true, well, generally, it is too good to be true. Generally, it is too good to be true that one product or it can solve all of these different problems and make it so much better. But the key part of this, the reason why this is a legit fact, is that this technology is actually boosting the core health of the plant and the soil. So when you can really achieve, handle the cause, the root cause of some of these problems, and improve the health of the plant and the health of the microbes in the soil, and you really do that naturally just by natural wave stimulation, and it's a very new technology, as I mentioned, you can achieve miraculous results. There was a science fiction writer many, many years ago, Arthur C. Clarke, who said any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Now, I want you to kind of look and think about things that have really transformed our lives, whether it's good for good or bad. Apple, Steve Jobs, he gets lauded over as this sort of amazing genius because he invented one of these things. This is a Samsung, but I mean, he invented the smartphone, right? And he transformed just by this one little invention, just by redesigning the concept of a phone, he transformed the way we communicate, the way people around the world communicate. Even people in third world countries in Africa who have literally, barely enough food to eat have one of these. Think about that for a second. Even the people that are in areas where there really isn't much technology still have one of these. So, he was able to transform the way we communicate. The internet. Think of that as an invention, right? That was not just one individual, but the internet, as it evolved, changed the way human beings communicate and interact with each other. Now you can, talk to people all the way across the world. You can pick up this thing and utilize the internet functionality of it to actually talk with anybody anywhere around the world. Doesn't matter where they're at, as long as they have power or some kind of connection, then we can talk to them. I mean, it's brought us together as a species in ways that no other technology has. I mean, the internet, I was thinking about this with my son as I was helping him with his homework the other day. The internet has transformed the way we access and have access to information. Think about it. I mean, I was sitting there doing homework, and he ran into a word that he didn't know the meaning of, and neither did I. It was just some strange word, and so we instantly went on my phone, or we instantly went on the computer and looked up the definition, and instantly we have the definition. I didn't have to go looking for a dictionary or trying to find out or whatever. My other uh, son was doing a science fair project, right? And he's sitting there thinking, well, I have to research this project. When I did my science fair project or research projects, I had to go to the library, go through the whole catalogs, the Dewey Decimal Systems, go pick out a bunch of books, read through to try to find out if it had the information I wanted, and then do the report. That whole thing is at your fingertips now with the internet. It's completely transformed the way we access information. And there's other things like Elon Musk is transforming the entire auto industry, making the idea of electric car, which has been around since the 1980s, believe it or not. He's actually making that dream a reality, and he's pushing it forward. He's pushing space flight. Civilian space flight is now a reality, thanks to Elon Musk. Now, I'm not saying this just to tout and praise all these different innovators, but think about the way that these innovations have transformed our lives. I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't have, actually 15 years ago, we didn't even have these things. These things were on the horizon. We had flip phones, right? 25 years ago, we didn't have the internet really as we know it. All we had was, maybe online message boards. I remember those. We didn't have the internet. All we had was libraries and stuff like that. 40, 50 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have computers. And imagine how life would be like today without a computer. you know these types of innovations have completely transformed our lives in so many different ways, and what we are doing with Harvest Harmonics is doing the same thing for agriculture. The way agriculture has been done for the last 60, 70 years has been a pretty standard. You add fertilizers, you have seeds, and you obviously, through hybridization and other methods, you adjust the seeds and get good quality seeds. You put fertilizer on there. If you have insects, you put insecticide on there. If you have weeds, you put herbicide on there. If you have funguses, you put fungicide on there, and you try to maximize and reduce your input costs as much as possible and get as much as you can out of your yield. And over time, you've had these small little iterations, but the farming practice has been largely the same. We have improvements in terms of equipment, improvements in seed quality, improvements in fertilizer quality, and these types of things. But the general way that farming has been done for the last 70, 80 years has been pretty much the same, and hasn't really changed that much. Well, the Kemonoxia plant booster is going to be that innovative change for agriculture that we've seen, similar to what we've seen in some of these other fields of the internet, the smartphone, like new cars, all these types of things, right? The Kemonoxia plant booster is making that plant more efficient. So plants right now that can only absorb 20 to 30% of the fertilizer that you're putting in the field are now going to be able to absorb 40 to 50% of the fertilizer in the field. Where you're used to watering 12, 13, 14 hours per irrigation cycle, with Kiminasi, you may be able to cut that in half or even less. Where you used to spray fungicide every single year whenever the corn gets to a certain stage or your crops that get to a certain stage, you're not going to have to do that anymore because the funguses are not going to be as much of a problem. Where you used to have to really do soil tests sometimes multiple times a year to really wonder whether or not you have enough nutrients in the soil, you're going to start finding that the microbes in the soil are starting to take care of that again. They're starting to fulfill their natural function of improving the quality of soil. And then the other thing you're going to be hearing a lot is how much carbon dioxide emissions are going to be reduced, how much carbon we're able to sequester utilizing commercial agriculture. There was a great documentary I saw a couple months ago. Actually, it's called "Kiss the Soil," and I thought it was great because it actually talks about if we can just handle the soil problem and make soil healthy again, then we can handle 80% of the greenhouse gas problem that we're talking about, that you hear about in the news and everything else. And the solution to all of these problems that you're dealing with on a daily basis are actually very, very simple. It's simple. One, make the plant super efficient and super healthy. Number two, make those microbes in the soil super healthy and super active so they can do what they're naturally supposed to do and have not been able to do since the advent of chemical fertilizers and chemicals that we're putting into the soil. So if you just handle those two factors, it's really that simple. If you can just do that, handle those two factors, you're going to handle all the other problems that you're dealing with. And so, yes, by handling the simple mechanism that's underlying all of these different problems you're talking with, I can solve insect problems. I can solve, fungal problems. I can solve yield problems. I can solve soil health. I can solve all of these things. And it's not even that complicated. And the only reason you might think it would be a complicated solution is because you're trying to solve each little problem individually and not actually handling the underlying cause. The Kiminasi plant booster is a unique wave technology that's improving and enhancing the plant's ability to utilize and absorb nutrients, water, and sunlight. And so it's able to maximize its energy and growth potential. It's able to maximize fruit and vegetable production and the quality, because you're enhancing the energy level of the plant, the quality of the fruits and vegetables are going to be enhanced as well. And really, that's our entire goal with Harvest Harmonics. We want to improve the quality of food around the world. And we know that to do that, we have to partner with farmers and make your job a lot easier so that you can utilize less chemicals and less toxic things and more natural methods as well. If you guys are organic farmers already and you're curious about this, I'll let you know we've never had a problem with organic certifiers. We have certified organic farmers using this all over the world, and we've never had a problem with certification. We're utilizing a unique radio wave technology to stimulate the biological processes in the plants naturally, so we don't have to use chemicals or other inputs. So I just wanted to kind of go over with you um, real briefly today why we're making farmers more profitable, why farmers are making so much more money with this than before. Because if you just handle the core problems, it's really not that complicated. It's only complicated when you can't see the underlying cause of something, you know, and you have to go around. I mean, just think about it. For example, if you get a guy that's depressed, what do they recommend you do typically? They recommend you go to a doctor or psychiatrist and get this little set of pills that's supposed to handle your depression. Well, those pills are not actually handling the cause of your depression, right? There's some underlying factor. Maybe you don't know what that is that's causing that mental symptom, right? And the same thing, if plants are not producing healthy, quality fruits and vegetables at high quantity, they're not producing as much as they're genetically capable of. There's a reason why, okay? And we can continue to add fertilizers and do everything we've been doing for the last 60, 70 years. But if you're not handling those core issues in the plants are not going to be able to utilize that fertilizer anyway. So I just want to let you guys know we have a very special promotion going on right now. And if you haven't heard about it, I invite you to contact us. I'm not going to even mention exactly what it is here. I'm going to leave it a little bit of a mystery, but you can call us at 727-324-6750. Here in the month of December, we do have a very special offer for you guys who want to jump in and become an innovative farmer. Now, at the end of the day, it's a pretty simple concept, guys. This is going to revolutionize agriculture in the same way that the internet revolutionized information, in the same way that smartphones revolutionized the way we communicate, in the same way that Tesla is revolutionizing the way we drive. I'm sure in 10 years you probably won't be able to even find a gas car anymore, or it'll be very, very rare. So all of these revolutionary technologies have transformed life in many cases for the better, and the Cayman plant booster will do the same for agriculture. So the real question is, are you going to be one of those guys that jumps on board and takes advantage of the opportunity in front of you and has a chance to make a lot of extra money and become an innovator and jump on something right as it's just taking off? Are you somebody who wants to wait more until everybody else is using it? Or do you want to be one of the late guys who is the last person to adopt the new technology? The choice is yours. You can do anything you want, but I invite you to seize and maximize this opportunity to make your farm more profitable and healthier and better for everybody. If you're an innovative farmer or you want to be an innovative farmer, then give us a call at 727-324-6750. You can also email us at service@harvestharmonics.com, or you can go to our website at harvestharmonics.com. Check us out, check out the case studies, check out some of the results we've already produced just in the last couple of years. Check out some of the scientific studies we have ongoing. We should be getting those white papers back for very soon now that showcase 14-foot tall corn plants with 2 ears per stalk. Not to mention strawberry yields, not to mention a number of other tomato yields, which we've seen amazing, amazing results on those too. So if you guys are farming today and you're not using Caymanasi plant booster, you're losing money. You're going to be making a lot more money and making a lot better quality fruits and vegetables for everybody by using this innovative technology. So jump on board and be innovative. Be one of the guys, the first guys. Walk around to your friends and say, "Hey, I was one of the first guys that tried Caymanasi before everybody else did." And look at my farm. Look how amazing it is. So I'd love to hear those success stories from my farmers, and I want you to be one of them. So give me a call. Let's work out how we can set up your farm with Kiminasi Plant Booster so you can start seeing the same rewards that our existing farmers are seeing all over the world. And that's all we got today, guys. Have a great, great day.